What's up, y'all? Today we're going to talk about how to launch your business. So by the end of this video, you'll know how to start your business by things that you didn't think about, also that are easy to implement and based off things that you know and your interests. So stay, watch, see, and do. First, I'm going to jump over here to kind of give you an outline of it. First thing we want to do, we already kind of spoke about this, but we're using YouTube as kind of our main hub structure. So I'm gonna put an M for middle, also an M for media. It's kind of acting as both. All right. There's different ways you could do it, but for this particular example, this is how we're gonna do it. Also, we have to think beforehand, what is our business, what is our structure, what are we doing. So this is kind of the front end of the business, and there's a lot of different things that it can be or do. I'm going to show a couple clips on that, but I just want to kind of touch on this. So this is going to kind of be the front end, and then we have to think about also what we're going to do towards the back end. This is the bottom end. This is usually where we get a lot of our how we end up acquiring payments. Different things will have come out of it. Is it going to be like e-products, affiliate marketing? So we're thinking it, and sometimes it happens really quickly. You could do things within YouTube, but you could also do things outside of YouTube, which I'll kind of talk about in this video. But I just kind of want to make this video for everybody. That could be done for everyone. So we'll start with that, and then one more piece I wanted to add in there was this. So just to really solidify you being able to think about it. So we talked about this format. We got the front end, we got YouTube, and we have the back end. Okay, that's the example I'm using. Other examples, which I've alluded to, and this is different. We're not really going to talk about this, but I just want you to think about this. Maybe your structure is that you have YouTube first, okay? And then it's pushing for your front end and then for your back end, okay? That's possible too. That might be something that you do online. Maybe you're using a different social media. I know different media is paid differently. Maybe that's what you're doing. I don't know. There's a lot of different examples that come out of this. I'm not going to go too much into that, but I just want to say this is another way that it can be utilized, okay? And I know everyone in here is smart, so we already know where the last place is coming out is, okay? So this way is, this could be the front end, the back end, and then having YouTube at the very back. So this might be more of a brick and mortar or something like that setup. There's a lot of different ways you could do it, and it could change for different products and things like that. It doesn't have to always exist in this particular form, but this might be what it is. Maybe you already have an existing business and then you want to bring YouTube in at the end or something like that. It could be a lot of different things and reasons why you want to do that, but I'm just trying to get you to think about the different ways that you might utilize it and how it might be effective for you. Because everyone has a different business. You have to think about, what is your USP, what is your unique selling point. You also have to think about what you're gonna do. There's so many different things I could say, but so I'm gonna flip to this first clip right here. Now, if you don't know who this is, Gary Vee, he actually is pretty big on YouTube. He's been on there since 2008. He originally started by helping his father push his business on YouTube, because his father, if you really look back, it depends. Some people may be researchers, some people may not, but he pushed the wine library, and he was very big and very instrumental in this. And after that, then he started to break off in his own, kind of created his own media corporation with his brother. They went private, stayed private. They didn't do IPO, which I might talk about later on, but they're doing stuff differently. And this kind of leans to, do you have a product or a service? What are you bringing to the table when you're talking to these different clients? Is there specific platforms that you're gonna use? Are there different ways you're gonna do it? This gentleman also, he is the founder of what's it? I think it's Scrub Daddy. Yeah, it's Scrub Daddy. He's the founder of this different thing. And here's the funny thing: businesses are started off differently. So for him, the business, his original intention was not for this to be used to clean silverware. It was going to be used to clean the grit and grime off your hands, because he's like in oil or some heavy industry. He ended up having these boxes in his like storage for like 5 years because he purchased it, and then he changed the idea, changed the packaging and everything, which is what happens with a lot of businesses. So I just want to get you to think about that. How might you utilize that as you're moving forward? And that's why it has the ridges to clean your fingernails, the holes, the eyes to clean, so you can stick your fingers in there. But then the mouth didn't come out until after the idea, where he said he could put a spoon in there and then clean it out. Clean a spoon, and both sides are clean instead of you having to flip it over. It's just another way of cleaning it, just another way of doing things. But this is kind of what he implemented as his idea. I provided a list here so you could think about different things that you want to do. Maybe you already know your business, so I won't stay on this too long, but these are just some basic ideas that people might do and can utilize. Maybe you want to deliver food or something like that. So think about that. Think about how you're going to do it. So maybe you want to do catering. Maybe you want to do food truck. Those would probably be the ones that I would lean to. I really don't like food businesses per se. I like to eat food, but I just don't believe there's a large margin list. There's some way you can apply other things to it, which kind of lends me to what I was going to talk about. I'm going to talk about different subjects, but one thing that is kind of going around right now where they're talking about is this young lady, Cooking with Kaya. Great young lady, does a lot of different things with cooking with food. So we're trying to see, is there something that she can do to better utilize her cooking skills, or maybe different things to pivot. She has a jingle, Cooking with Kaya. There are some positives and negatives in it, but what I look to do is try to see, how can I help businesses turn around, do PR, change different things, or pivot in a better direction. Or just maybe they're already in it, maybe they're not. So I kind of want to talk about those things. So that kind of led me to that. And so when I say that, I'm a person to say, let's think about that. Let's think about, maybe you could change the jingle. Maybe the jingle might be something different. Because as I was looking at it, just trying to formulate ideas. I just really need more information to be able to better assist her. But I think starting with a different jingle, maybe a different ploy, and we'll kind of talk about different things that you could kind of go into. But you got to think, like, what could she do differently? I mean, maybe she might want to do something like, remember that lady who had the greens, beans, that. Maybe she could do something like. So, and this is an easy way. You start with a jingle. You start with something like that. You could do that. How do you know? Da 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 da. I'm loving it. You know what that is. I ain't got to tell you. You know what it is. That's commercials. That's marketing. You can employ different things in a way. You could always change things to make it do what you want it to do. So let's think about that. All right. So I'm not gonna play it out too much, but that's just different ways to think about how can you pivot? What can you do? Um, even thinking about this other young lady right here. What's this child's name? Ivana. So I know she was going through a struggle where she was. There was something on social media probably maybe about a year ago, and I was really thinking about. I was like, "Hey, what could she do? What could she do?" I didn't know she was a singer, and so it made me think, like, thinking, brainstorming. I don't think there's any real. I don't know if I showed this clear. I don't think there's any real bad ideas. The thing is to think about. The thing is to think: is there a best way? Is there a best way for you to approach it with it and what you're doing? What can you do? And I think one of her complaints is, I got 1 million subscribers. I got 100,000 subscribers. How come I'm not getting paid on the app? So the app's paying, but the question is, what are you bringing to the table that is really something? There's really something that you can sell. That's something that you could really bring to the market. And so that's what I'm saying. So that's what you have to think about. And so when you're trying to bring something to the market, you have to think like, okay, how can I pivot this? And let me jump over here to this gentleman right here. Really like this gentleman. Really like this gentleman. He does a great job. Keats did it. Really inspiring content. He went in a direction that it's not a bad direction, but I think he could have been so much more profitable had he stayed with what he went with. Like, I like anime, but I'm not super big on anime, so it's not no knock against anime, not no knock against him. I love what he's doing, love his content. He's more of an IG guy. I just don't think he got proper instruction. Okay. And this is kind of what, as I'm looking, I'm like, dang, they're leaving money on the table. What could they do? Like, the young man, he created the planet. So he kind of went into this series. Like, he's kind of jumping to kind of more comedian type stuff where, like, so this is the end. The beginning, the top part is the anime. So now he's doing like different characters. To me, different characters is hard. It's not bad, but it's hard to do because you have to constantly change the character. You have to change your clothes. It's a lot of editing. You want to minimize the editing as much as you can as possible. So he did some stuff on that. But I think his greatest thing, and I mean, he does other stuff because he's really a beats guy. He's a music guy. He's a producer. He does different things, but he created this planets. He created the planets. The planets have meaning. He did this series. If you want to take a look at it, he did this series where with the planets for people or something like that. So great series, did it well, but and this is where I'm saying he's leaving money on the table. His videos are 2 minutes long. He transferred them over from Instagram or whatever. Me, in order for you to get paid on YouTube, your video should be at least 8 minutes long, and that's why I don't like shorts. I like shorts, but I don't like shorts. You just have to do so much with the shorts, and I think he was struggling with that, and he was like, it's not worth the effort, and so he kind of went in a different direction. But before I go into that, I'm gonna say where he left the money on the table was that he should have made the videos 8 minutes long and did the skits. He did a music video. It wasn't even 8 minutes long, so you don't get. So if you create that, it's treated like a shorts, and so you get paid for it like a shorts. And I think shorts, I think I talked about it before, you get paid like $300, $800. I mean, $800 is a lot if I'm saying it, but I think it's more like 300, and that's for like so many millions of views or something like that. And then can advertisers use it? but his product was so clean that you could use it and it could sell products because he sold shirts and stuff. But because he made the video so short that he wasn't probably seeing revenue, he's like, what am I wasting my time? The series was awesome. The series was great. He could have did so much with it, and so he didn't do that right, and so that's in my opinion what he did wrong. I mean, he ended up not doing it because of personal religious reasons and stuff, which I respect and everything like that. But but before he did that, he kind of changed up his style with them. So these are more skits, but then he tried to do a movie, and then it was like too high of a production. Like he tried to bring other characters in and stuff like that. I still think he could have still accomplished what he was doing with it. He still could have did what he was doing with it, but when he made the changes. And so on this one, he has a rap video, but the other one I was showing before, it was kind of part of the skits, and this was kind of during COVID when people were trapped inside and stuff like this. So that was what. So I'll play a little bit. I'm not gonna go to the longer videos. I'll let y'all find it, but I'll play some of the intro skits, and you'll just see how good it is, and see what happened was, and then he was able to sell shirts, and then I'll tell you the back end what he struggled with the shirts, and that's what kind of became the problem.
So you've probably heard that Saturn got a huge shout out from NASA. So to celebrate, we're gonna
This is like the third episode or something like that.
rap on one of his beats. Now everyone must participate, and we're gonna go in solar system order.
Hey, I can spit something?
Yeah, just go after Nep and before Pluto.
Say less.
Saturn, take it away.
I'm the son and I'm the leader. I really run the show, so I'm that guy like Peter. Giving Pluto smoke, no, I am that heater, and I always got the time like a curbside meter. Retrograde, I'll spin the block real quick. I mess up that new car and that new side chick. On my queen-like tip, know your son like this. I don't need no gravity, cause I got G's on deck.
And see, and that's what I'm saying. It's already great already. Like, you could do so much with that. And he created products, but I'll play this other video, but I'll talk about the products in a little bit. What I want to say, what the issue with the product was.
You haven't had the sandwich yet? Son, we'll be back.
Whatever.
Saturn, you drive.
6 rings.
R4. Oh, but been on the road like a planet, yeah. Been dropping hot shit, drop, making a wave in Atlanta, yeah. Planets all up on the road, bro. Pluto go out of control, yeah. Pluto go out of control, ooh. Pluto go out of control, ooh. Yeah, I made the beat and I did it, yeah. I just be bullshitting on my laptop, only took me a minute. Got so many talents, I don't mean to brag. The problem is how to present it, yeah. I just want the bag, pull up in the bed bath and go bobbling it. Nice. Ride around Atlanta.
See, and this is what I'm talking about, and I'm not even trying to go this route with it, but this was not originally on my schedule, but I'll say it. So I'll say this. I was looking at, like, a lot of artists are doing independent videos. I think Gorilla did one where it's inappropriate. It's an inappropriate video, but but it was conducted by her. Okay, so she created the video and stuff like that. She had it produced and stuff like that, which is good. But people are going independent, so they're doing independent videos and they're creating it. Okay, so and here's the video. Okay, so here it is right here. I'm not gonna play the video; it's very inappropriate. But this is her. They cut it, they did it, or whatever. They produced it. Awesome, wonderful job. But the problem is, see, and this is where we're talking about. It's like, how are you structuring your business? For hers, music is the main portion of it. Music is the main portion, and I think she's using YouTube on the back end, or you could say YouTube on the front end, because I don't even know what other products she has. Is she doing like a Rihanna and selling perfumes and stuff like that? I know Sexy Red is doing something like that. Where so they're turning it from one thing to another. So that's something to think about. So as you're in the product doesn't have to be sexual. I'm just using this as the example. There's other people who I could use, which is got to be my next guy that I'm gonna use. I didn't even think I was gonna use a lady. I had a hard time thinking about one. But I'm saying like they're doing that, and how they're pivoting with that. So how are you pivoting in the business or the direction that you're thinking about going? So what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So the thought is, are you doing like this? Is this what you're doing? All right. So I'm gonna say this about The Rock. And so here's what I'm saying. My man, 100% pivoted, 100%. If you know any of his history, and this is why I read autobiographies, and I encourage you to do the same, especially if you're studying in your field. My field is just admired of things. But he went from playing football to then getting involved in wrestling because his father was involved in wrestling. He did okay, he did well, but then that's what got him into acting. Okay, it got him into acting. It got him to do all these different changes. And so you'll see different things. Like, so I just mentioned this about him. This is probably him about 10, 20 years later or whatever. But you see that little logo right there? That little logo on his shirt, that was originally this tattoo. This tattoo is much bigger now. He changed it. It took like 2 days to get this tattoo. But he had a smaller tattoo that looked just like that. And that was the original brand of this. So he's created, I think he collaborated with Armor All, and he was able to push his brand. He's very positive. He changed that different things, but he's still coming back and using those different things. So he's building items on top of items to be able to push his product. So he's using that. So it's not just him doing that. He has his catchphrase. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? He has his shirt. He has those different things. His everything that he's doing is he's finding a way to make it make money for him. And that's what I think is awesome. So I'm now this is the older version. Here we go.
Or to The Rock, sit at the head of the table. I love you too, San Diego, and that's what I thought. If you smell what The Rock is cooking,
and that's him doing his due. So you can do the same thing. And so that's what you have to think about. You could do the same thing. And so I'm going to come back to this gentleman who I was talking about before. Keith did it. But he went into a different direction. And so he's doing these different videos or skits or whatever, which is cool, which is fine. And this is kind of one of the longer videos or whatever. He didn't even hit the 8-minute mark. So that's probably high production, high cutting, high editing. I mean, it really created more work for himself in just in my opinion. And no disrespect to him. I hope he doesn't take this as disrespectful, but I think he's great. He's a genius. He's an artist on what he does. So I love his product, and I just wish he could have found a way to create the value for himself in it. But I mean, it's not just only having the artistic ability, but what else can he do in it, and how can he maximize and this is what I was showing. I'm sorry, y'all. But can he maximize what he's doing? And here's the clip I was talking about. These are the clips. It's the older one if it didn't show up. So it's just how can he maximize what he's doing? All right. So and then I'll say this, and I feel like I'm talking too much or talking too long, but I'm sorry. So let me just cut this short and say this. He ended up selling shirts, and he had the product sent to his house. So that's cool, but then he had to deal with the shipping and handling. That's a lot. You handling, shipping, and handling, that's a lot. I'm trying not to get you to have to worry about that. You don't have to win, and there's drop shipping. There's other things, so you don't have to handle it. So you don't have to handle that. So those are the things you have to think about. What can you do to shift the direction that you're going with things? That's what you have to think about. Like, what can you do? And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna see if y'all know what this is. I'm gonna see if you know what this is.
Your challengers are a young group from Houston.
Yeah, beat drop. I got a secret, but I ain't gonna tell ya unless you promise me that you won't tease me.
I think that's Beyonce. I think that is really Beyonce. But I'll say things happen with the group, things change or whatever. But I know what ended happened, and one of the things that was really big that I saw was like at the ending here.
Thank you, girls.
At the ending here, the one person kind of jumped and like hit her in the middle. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna go over real well, and I don't think it did because that group ended up splitting up and stuff like that. But I didn't bring that up for no reason. I brought that up for the fact of this right here. So they are going through with litigation. I went through litigation with Blue Ivy. Their child's name is Blue Ivy. Blue Ivy, and here's where I'm saying this is where you start getting real thoughtful, real good in what you're doing. So, so they were going through a battle, and they were buying trademarks, and I'm gonna show you different trademarks that they use. But they were buying different trademarks, but there was already a lady who already had purchased Blue Ivy or something like that, and hers was in weddings. So that was the same thing. They were having conflict, and then I think they ended up winning the battle. Initially, they weren't winning, but it took a little bit of time. But then they ended up winning that battle, and so they end up winning the trademark. But the trademarks, and here's what the list of the trademarks are, and this is how you decide what you're going to do. So now a lot of these things might be harder for people to get into unless you like create your own hand tool, which is more of a patent. Jewelry, or you create a new musical instrument over here, paper goods, matters, and things like this. So clothing, that's what a lot of people get into. That's trademark 25. Are you gonna sell a clothing or a brand? And then toys or sporting goods. I think those are one of the things that Beyonce ended up getting for her daughter, because she said that's something like if you want to create those dolls, I think it was the different type of dolls with rats or something like that. There's all these different things that you could do about it. Like, are you going to create a wine or spirit? A lot of people did that who were involved in those different things. So these are the things you have to think about. Like, how are you going to protect which direction you're going into? Is there something specifically that you're going to go into that is going to do? I'm trying to see if there's any other things in here. Because a lot of these, they may not say something that you particularly may be interested in, but they're probably hidden within, not hidden, but if you go into the list, they'll probably fall under the list, maybe education and entertainment or something like that. So that's why she's trying to buy the trademarks to market that. So Beyonce and Blue Ivy can use that stuff for those particular products over time, so they can continue doing that. All right. And then I'll say, lastly, here's kind of what I'm going to close with. I'll just show a quick. I'm not going to play it, but I'll just show it. I feel like I'm already going too long already. But this lady right here, she does a great job. She talks about different ways that she makes money. Take a look at her. Just call me Nikki. She does a great job talking about products, and here she's talking about how she's using Pinterest to push a product. She uses different things. She really talks about it. She made, I think, either $25,000, $30,000 profit first quarter or whatever this year. I think she talked about it in one of her most recent videos. So I thought that was awesome. And then last thing I'll show is this clip right here. I'm not gonna show the clip. He cusses a lot. This is Charleston White. I'll probably put the links in the description. But in here he talks about how to get royalties on what you produce, reposting audio and things like that. He's trying to show those different ways where those young ladies were talking about trying to make money, cooking with Kaya and Ivana. This is where it all ties in. How can you make money? How can you use what Gary Vee said? How can you tie those things in with creating the product, still having it 5 years later, but being able to use it and sell it? You know what I'm saying? In some of these different ideas. So I just want to kind of say that. I'm gonna put the link in the description, and I hope this was helpful. And I just want to say I wish y'all well. I wish y'all well. and talk to me in the link in the description, comment or selection or whatever, anything you could think of that I could do that could be helpful. All right, y'all take it easy.